Today is Wednesday, July 24th. We're talking about the first rally of Vice President Harris's revamped presidential campaign. Also, tense protests ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress later today. Plus, signs it's about to be a buyer's market in real estate. How Meta's new artificial intelligence could be good or bad for the future. And which iconic performer is set to make a comeback at the Paris Olympics. Those stories and even more news to know in today's episode. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Vice President Kamala Harris held her first rally since replacing President Biden as the likely Democratic nominee. She spoke in battleground state Wisconsin. And it didn't take long for her to start focusing on her likely showdown against former President Trump. She compared him to the criminals she once went after as a prosecutor. Harris also spoke about her own priorities, saying if elected, she would expand abortion access, make it easier for workers to join unions, and address gun violence. Overall, the rally was different from the smaller, more subdued events Biden held. It was the largest crowd either she or Biden has had since this campaign started. And the audience was energetic, dancing, waving Harris signs, and chanting her name. Still, former President Trump says he's confident he can beat the vice president, pointing out that her last presidential run in 2020 didn't even survive until the first primary. Trump also said Harris is no different from Biden. And that's something his Republican allies are focused on too, tying Harris to some of Biden's more unpopular policies, including those related to migrants crossing the southern border. Of course, Harris has her own allies. Just yesterday, she got the endorsement of the top two Democrats in Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Meanwhile, President Biden is back in Washington, D.C. after spending several days in Delaware recovering from COVID-19. And he plans to give a primetime address tonight from the Oval Office. The president says he's going to speak on, quote, what lies ahead and how I will finish the job for the American people. We'll, of course, bring you a recap tomorrow on The Newsworthy. In the face of intense scrutiny, the head of the Secret Service has decided to step down. In an email to employees, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle explained that one of the agency's most important duties is to protect the nation's leaders, and that it fell short of that mission when a gunman opened fire at a Trump campaign rally. Officials investigating the shooting have questioned why the suspect was able to get onto the roof of a building where he had a direct line of fire to former President Trump. They've also asked why Trump was even allowed to take the stage while law enforcement was searching for a suspicious person. And even though those questions are still being investigated, lawmakers from both parties had called on Cheadle to step down. And now her resignation goes into effect immediately. And President Biden says he will appoint a new Secret Service director soon. Meanwhile, lawmakers have reached a deal to form a bipartisan task force to lead congressional investigations into the assassination attempt. And some news outlets are reporting that former President Trump has decided to stop holding large outdoor rallies like the one where he was shot. Senator Robert Menendez, who was once a powerful Democrat in Congress, announced he's going to resign next month. Several other lawmakers had been calling on him to step down ever since a jury convicted him of taking part in an international bribery scheme. He has promised to appeal, but there were already talks of going through a process to expel him, had he not decided to quit on his own. Now, New Jersey's Democratic governor is expected to quickly pick a replacement for Menendez to serve until his term ends on January 1st. For the first time since the war in Gaza broke out, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington, D.C. He's preparing to address a joint meeting of Congress today. But his visit is controversial. Already, many lawmakers have said they'll boycott his speech. Vice President Harris, who would normally preside over such an address, also won't be there. She says it's just because she already planned to visit a historically black sorority in Indianapolis before Netanyahu's visit was scheduled. Still, House Speaker Mike Johnson condemned Harris's decision to skip it. There have been large protests against Netanyahu, like one that included hundreds of protesters in a U.S. House building yesterday. Some condemned Israel's occupation in Gaza overall. Others expressed support for Israel, but were pushing for Netanyahu to strike a ceasefire deal. And that could be just a taste of what's to come. Tens of thousands more protesters are expected to march outside the Capitol today. Already, relatives of the hostages who have been held by Hamas since the first hours of the war held a protest vigil on the National Mall last night. Netanyahu met with some of those families this week. They say he told them conditions are ripening to bring hostages home, which is one of the first times Netanyahu has signaled some progress in talks. But one senior Hamas official told Reuters nothing has changed in the months since President Biden first proposed a ceasefire back in May. Netanyahu is expected to meet with President Biden and Vice President Harris tomorrow, and then former President Trump on Friday. Record-breaking heat waves aren't just impacting the U.S., but also the whole globe. The European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service says this past Sunday was the hottest day ever recorded on Earth. It comes on the heels of 13 straight months of unprecedented temperatures. Not only is the U.S. experiencing its hottest start to summer on record, but southern and central Europe have also been getting triple-digit temps. Plus, huge swaths of Asia have been dealing with scorching days and dangerously hot nights. There has even been abnormal heat in large parts of Antarctica. One of the reasons this year is especially warm is because of the El Niño climate pattern. La Niña is expected to arrive in the coming months, bringing at least some cooling effect. Overall, though, scientists say temperatures will keep rising and records will continue to be broken. More news still ahead, but first, a break for our sponsor. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you focus on what you do best while turning browsers into buyers. That's the sound you could get used to hearing as the sales come in with Shopify. Because Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. In fact, it's the internet's best converting checkout. I'm talking 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. What I love about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. Plus, even if you think you're not tech savvy, you can sell without needing to code or design. And Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/newsworthy, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/newsworthy to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. If you're in the market for a new home, we have some good news for you. A recent report from Zillow found nearly 1 in 4 home sellers offered price cuts last month, and that's the highest level for June since 2018. Plus, there's been an increase in new home construction lately, and the Federal Reserve is expected to start cutting rates soon, bringing mortgage payments down. Many experts say all of that together means it's about to be a buyer's market. But at least for now, buying a home is still unaffordable for a lot of Americans. The National Association of Realtors says home prices hit a new high in June for a second straight month. From here, many experts say there's almost nowhere to go but down. Of course, real estate is local, so home prices vary quite a bit depending on where you want to live. Meta just debuted a new and powerful AI model for free. It's called Llama 3.1. The model is mostly used to power chatbots, both within Meta apps like Instagram and WhatsApp, and by outside developers. And Meta says this one has improved reasoning to help solve complex math problems or instantly analyze an entire book of text. There are also features that can create images on demand. For example, one feature called Imagine Yourself lets you upload an image of your face and then see yourself in all kinds of different scenes and scenarios. All the technology behind Llama is available for the public to use for free. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg says the hope is his company's work will be the foundation of other successful startups and products. And with that, Meta will have more influence in how the industry moves forward. But there is also some risk. As Wired explained, Meta trains Llama in a way that's meant to prevent the AI model from creating harmful content like hacking tools by default. But since it's open source, available to anyone for free, it could theoretically be modified to remove those safeguards. Either way, many developers say this new release could have a big impact in overall AI development. If you have a Disney World trip planned, listen up. Starting today, the amusement park is replacing Genie Plus with Lightning Lane. So if you're not familiar, the Genie system lets guests pay extra to reserve times at certain attractions so lines go faster. But many fans complained about it since it required guests to log onto the site on the morning of their visit to grab spots. Plus, they had to pay for a Genie Plus membership before seeing attraction times available. Now with Lightning Lane, people can make their selections up to a week in advance, and the app will be updated for easier planning. Still, a lot of Disney fans are upset by this new system too. Some say it doesn't include their favorite rides, and others say it puts yearly pass holders at a disadvantage. Either way, it's expected to be popular since going to Disney World during peak season without any reservations could mean waiting up to 90 minutes in line for a single ride. It's the most visited theme park in the world. Singer Celine Dion is set to make a comeback on the world stage. TMZ is reporting she will perform at the opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics this Friday. This is especially exciting for her fans since Dion has been suffering from stiff person syndrome for years now. It's a disease that makes the body seize up, sometimes for hours, and is incredibly painful. But earlier this year, she told Vogue that she's been working with a medical team to be the best she can be, and that, quote, "My goal is to see the Eiffel Tower again." Now she could end up performing right in front of the famous French landmark, since the opening ceremony will be held along the banks of the Seine River. By the way, there are also rumors Lady Gaga could perform at the opening ceremony, though neither Dion nor Gaga have made an announcement at this point. And so far, France's Minister of Sports has just said there will be an exceptional lineup of artists, including musicians, dancers, and actors. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, this episode is sponsored by SKIMS. You all know how much I love everything I've gotten from SKIMS so far. And sure enough, after I recently requested a mini session with a stylist as a gift for my upcoming birthday, even she was commenting on my newest finds, like how cute and versatile my SKIMS Soft Lounge long slip dress is. I love how I can dress it up or down, wear it alone, or throw on a jacket over it. And just like the name suggests, it's super comfortable and soft. And yes, the stylist commented on just how luxurious my new SKIMS Soft Lounge sleep set is as well. This matching pajama set can turn a hectic day into a calm, cozy evening in an instant. It's crazy how something so simple can make a difference in how you feel. So go definitely shop the SKIMS Soft Lounge collection at skims.com. Now available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. And if you haven't yet, be sure to let them know I sent you. After you place your order, select The Newsworthy in the survey and select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. Okay, now back to Work Wednesday. Thousands of people were given free money for the largest American study on basic income. The point of the research was to see what happens when people have guaranteed paydays, how it impacts their health, spending, employment, and so on. The project was supported by OpenAI's founder, Sam Altman, through Open Research Lab. For 3 years, it gave $1,000 a month to 3,000 people in Illinois and Texas whose average household incomes were less than $29,000. And generally, what it found was those people spent more on essentials like food, rent, and transportation, and actually cut back on vices like taking drugs and drinking too much. The study also found most people did not drop out of the workforce, though they did work slightly fewer hours. One thing that surprised researchers was that in the end, participants did not take on better paid work in order to earn more money. So they thought people would be able to afford to wait for better jobs or maybe quit bad jobs, but they didn't notice any effects on the quality of employment. They also did not find evidence anyone's physical or mental health improving long-term. Researchers do note that a lot of their findings depended on people's incomes starting out, their family structures, and their priorities. Cities across the U.S. are doing their own tests of this concept. That said, a handful of states have passed laws to block basic income initiatives, worried they could be bad for the economy and the labor force. So, stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening and for spreading the word about The Newsworthy. We'll catch you up with more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.